Hey y'all, we are back with LaRae Infinity Let's Talk podcast, the ladies behind the mic. And I want to thank everybody out there listening. And I want to start with our newest listeners in Angola, Argentina, always Mexico, Russia, what up, Spain, Canada, we see you out there. Everybody in the U.S., thanks for holding it down the last 3 seasons, along with Let's Talk on the Side and Let's Talk to Men About It. And, right here in Tejas, thank you for listening. Keep sharing. Keep uplifting women. Keep understanding that our stories, your stories, need to be heard, celebrated, and understood. And y'all know how this podcast goes. We take the story that we're supposed to tell, we throw it out the window, and we tell our unapologetic story the way we want to tell it in our own time and in our own words. Let's talk. Warning, in this podcast, there is cursing and adult content.
Hello guys, my name is Diamond Sade. I am 31 years old. My zodiac sign is Toxic or Aquarius, whichever one you want to say first, whichever one. Today, I basically have not done anything, got much needed rest. And you are here listening to LaRae Infinity Let's Talk podcast season 3, episode 8. We here.
We are here, and I'm LaGina, your host. Yes! All right, Diamond, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Y'all already know most of the women that have been on my podcast I have not met. Diamond, I have to say I appreciate you and I admire you for the way you move. And I'll be more specific. We met during Podfest Global Summit 2021. We reached out to each other over DM in the first speakers meeting. We became the Struggle is Real sisters as we were figuring out what we're going to do for the summit, our 5-minute speeches. We stayed in contact over our IGs, and we've always been in support, whether it's likes or being on each other's podcasts. I can't wait to be a guest on yours. And I just appreciate your good energy, your good vibe, the realness that you always bring with you. And I'm here for this journey, and I'm here to celebrate it with you. So here we go. All right, so a lot of times as women, we are handed a narrative or told how we are supposed to navigate through the world. And, I'm here with you to celebrate your story, your ride, your journey, how you chose to navigate the world, because we are throwing out the window, like I said before, the way it's supposed to go. And we're celebrating how we're actually doing it, because the only right way to be a woman is the way that you are your own woman, and embracing it. All right. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Okay. So let's just start with something easy. Where did you grow up? Who is Diamond?
St. Louis that's home, but it's like that. It's like that first relationship you ever had where you can't forget it, but you realize like, man, it's really kind of fucked up. It's like that for me. I love home, but I love it from afar. I feel like my love grows the farther I am away. So St. Louis, born and raised, ended up going to a small school outside of St. Louis called Rolla, getting this illustrious engineering degree. Became first college graduate on both sides of my family, at least in my generation, my immediate aunts and uncles or whatever. After that, thrived in this engineering field in quality and process improvement, got my master's in quality, love quality, it's my happy space. Then eventually took a career pivot, and now I'm in data engineering. So I do cloud computing and cloud-based technology, all that good shit. What else I do? Knowledge and Pettiness podcast, I teach at Southern New Hampshire University on data analytics. So I became like this data person overnight, which is kind of weird because it's like this feeling where it's like, damn, do I even know everything? Or is there more I should be learning? That's really me. Like, I was just this weird kid that always just like did whatever the hell she wanted to do. and met engineering through a summer program, and it changed my life. You know, I've always been dope, and it helped me be doper. So I have a total of, well, me making 4, so 3 siblings. On my mom's side, it's just me and my sister. I'm the baby. On my dad's side, I'm somewhere in the middle child on some J. Cole shit. And basically, I wanted to be a comedian growing up. I always loved making people laugh. I always loved trying to find a comedy in really shitty situations. Dark humor is my love language. Yeah, I literally, like, no exaggeration, spent my sophomore and junior year in school suspension, to the point where, like, me and the in-school suspension teacher, shout out to Dr. Gully or Mr. Gully, whichever one his name is, to the point where me and him had snack times and nap times. Like, I literally spent my whole fucking sophomore and junior year in school suspension. Literally.
I'm not even, we're not going to even go down that road of why I think that young kids of color, Black kids, young Black girls get fit into things like in-school suspension.
No, I was an asshole. That was it. Like,
yeah, but
everybody.
I think students and youth they should be assholes. Like, you have to foster, as an educator, you have to foster that power into things. So you said Dr. Gully, Mr. Gully, is that his name?
One of them. I think it was Mr. Gully. But It was crazy because, like, they wasn't really, like, I was an asshole. They knew that. They weren't tripping off of it. Like, I got amazing grades despite being in school suspension. I got accepted into college on a scholarship my junior year. So it was just like, okay, I was just an asshole. Like, that's just what it is.
Well, shout out to Mr. Gully. Yeah, that's your dude. That's your educator and in-school suspension and everything. So you got accepted to college. You go off to college. You fall into engineering, or is that, how did engineering get introduced to you?
Man, it literally fell in my lap. My dad was trying to get me a summer job, and, like, the summer job was at the St. Louis Science Center. So I like science. So I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm gonna just have, you know, all the free IMAX movies and shit. Like, that's what I was thinking. No. Like, I ended up being in a 4-year program that exposed me to engineering. I had never heard of it before. Wow. So it literally, like, changed everything about my life, because I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. Like, my dad, he works in dialysis. My mom did her, and I like coloring her, but I don't give a fuck about doing her. Like, I don't want to do that. And then I'm squeamish, so medical field wasn't an option. So I had no idea what I was going to do with my life before that program.
Engineering, college, did anything fun, unique, exciting happen to you in college, or was it just like you got through it?
Hell no, I didn't just get through school. Like, nah, that shit was a struggle. So again, I'm from St. Louis, and, like, we moved a lot. I'm not an Army brat. We just fucking moved a lot. So I struggled through math, like, hard, because every school that I went to, you know how they have these different curriculums and requirements. Instead of me progressing through math, I literally spent 4 years repeating the same math because every school had a different requirement. So, like, I struggled through math. I failed calculus at least 5 times. So I learned a lot about my perseverance in that way, right? And it wasn't until, like, I was applying for Rice for their, like, statistics PhD program. Like, I got complimented on that. He was like, no, I could tell that you're a very determined person. Like, seeing somebody go through calc like that, you don't give up. I was like, fuck no. Like, if I want something, I'm gonna get it. Like, you can't make me stop. I learned a lot about myself that way. I really, like, hit my peak of being an asshole in college, because, like, I felt this freedom where I could, like, be whoever the fuck I wanted to be. I went to college at Missouri University of Science Technology, or Rolla. That school's had, like, 3 different names, but that's the latest one.
Okay, because I was like, what is Rolla? I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, okay, so that was the second name. The second name was University of Missouri Rolla. Then the first name was Missouri School of Mines. I should know that. Yeah, I should know that.
So out of all of your experiences through like childhood and going to your undergrad, getting your undergrad degree and the master's program, is there anything that particularly impacted your life that stands out to you?
The most impactful thing that's happened in my life to date is definitely the science program. Just being there and seeing people like believe in me was different. There's people who believe in me because they saw results, right? They're like, oh yeah, Diamond is da-da-da-da. But they didn't see shit. They just saw a kid who was very like intellectual, had shiny shit syndrome, and just wanted to learn. They took that and cultivated it and like allowed me to fail and allowed me to just like be a kid.
What's something that is really, really quirky about you?
That's really quirky? My whole life is quirky. Like, it's hard to like pinpoint one thing. Definitely my hanger obsession. Like, I don't like any other hangers outside of black hangers, and they have to be the same type and they have to be hung the same way in my closet, or I literally will like spaz the fuck out.
Y'all, I'm looking like with this deep, intense look. So is it like the do you do like 2 fingers in between each hanger? Is there like a whole thing?
I'm not to that extreme, but it's like all my clothes have to be hung up by length, color, and texture. When my fiance brought in some other hangers that were not the same, but they were black, but they weren't the fucking same, I spazzed the fuck out. Yeah, it's a real thing, no exaggeration.
You just said something about a fiance. So tell us the love story of how you got to where you are now. She's dancing, y'all. She's ready for this part. Yes.
Okay, so I was minding my best life, living my best quarantined life. And I think it was on Tinder. Met him on Tinder. Swiped right to my future. And we've been thugging ever since. It's been very fast, intense, and amazing. It's weird because I remember like a couple months before actually meeting him, having an episode with my friends on my podcast. One who, my best friends who were like engaged or married, to just talk through like relationships and all that. And I'm like, man, I want to find my person, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, not even a full 2 months, I meet this guy. And like, I done did the Sims life on a couple niggas where I tried to like build them to be what I wanted. But it was like, wait, you already what I want? How?
Y'all know that the dating life app world is my jam. All the Bumbles, Tinders, Match.com, Black, BLK, that little app, done them all. And on Let's Talk on the Side, I have also done, if not dating apps, then what? I did that episode. Then I found out a couple months ago, or several months ago now, that my cousin met her dude on a dating app. And so I had her on a Let's Talk on the Side episode, and it was literally like, maybe still dating apps. And she was talking about it being quick, fast. She was just swiping. She almost swiped the other direction on him, on and on and on. So this is just so fascinating to me, y'all. So now we're up to, I think, 3 people that we know that have been dating app success.
It's so weird because like growing up, I always thought about this like huge ass like fucking wedding.
Yeah.
So I saw some huge ass weddings and I was like, this shit is a fucking circus. I don't like it. And then I was like, I started asking questions that you're not supposed to ask about, like, how much this shit cost?
You should ask those questions all day.
Because I'd be like, man, this is beautiful, but y'all niggas gonna be paying for this shit another 5 years, ain't you? And I don't want that. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm very bougie about certain things, right? Even with this wedding, I'm very bougie about certain things. Where we get married, I don't give a fuck about. But what I'm bougie about is my dress. I got that. That's the only thing I care about. We can get low-key, we can set up a motherfucking drive-through outside of my shit, and y'all motherfuckers can loop around it. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I have my dress. I don't give a fuck. Like, after that, no, I don't care. I don't. Like, half my family I don't even like, so I'm not gonna invite. Like, let's be real about this. Like, half these motherfuckers, like, no, I'm not gonna go in debt for half these people I don't even like. On the cool, I rather have spent my money investing in like counseling, investing in like different webinars or seminars for us to like grow as a couple or grow as business partners than me wasting it to feed half you motherfuckers I don't like.
Are there any traditional Nigerian things that he wants to bring into the wedding, or is he just like, let's get married? I
mean, we definitely are still going to do like the traditional wedding back in Enugu State where he's from. So that's still going to happen. Now that's uncharted territories. I have no idea what to expect from that. But as far as like the white wedding and all of that, we gonna hit this good old courthouse. I'm gonna pass out some Lunchables for the homies, and we gonna get that shit cracking. Like, I got my dress. Y'all niggas can split these Lunchables, get you a Capri Sun.
So are you nervous about the uncharted territories?
Yeah, I definitely am. Just like, it's just, how can I say? I am vegan. Okay, so when you think about that.
y'all my face though. I was like, oh.
A vegan and a Nigerian man, right? What the fuck am I finna do over there? Cause like, I'm about to be eating rice and plantains. Yeah, so I think I don't want to say embarrassed. I'm nervous, definitely about like that part of it, because it's like telling them, hey, y'all need to make something specific for me that does not include any part of me, the dances, anything, you get what I'm saying? Just like the whole flow of like how the ceremony is supposed to go. I've YouTubed it. I talked to like a couple homegirls that are Igbo as well, to just like, hey, what am I supposed to be doing? I'm excited about it. I'm very excited. And even if we, postpone that, I don't care. Like, I just want to be with him. I don't really give a fuck about all that shit. Like, I don't. I used to, but I don't know. Life has a way of just showing you what's more important. Our plan that we've kind of committed to, if we choose not to have a ceremony and just still stick with the court, man, it's groovy as fuck. And I'm happy that I have a partner that we actually can talk through that shit, where it's not, I gotta hide it in the closet of what I really want to do or these things. Nah, like we talked about it all. Like the thing that we agreed on is like, a wedding is a day. I want a marriage that is fruitful. I could give a fuck about a day. That's one day out of like thousands, hundreds that we're committing to. Fuck I care about.
Yeah, 100%. So you found him on an app. Y'all clearly have good communication skills. What is different this time for you?
Man, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm like, damn, did I get less trash? Like, what happened? Honestly, I think I've always been who I am with him. Like even in other relationships, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. A lot of the things that I really wanted in a partner, like this man is doing it off the flip. Whereas like a lot of the relationships prior was like, hey, can you meet this need? Can you do this? Can you do that? And meeting needs is not necessarily financial. Don't take it that way. Like in this PC culture, or tricking off culture too. A lot of things that I was wanting, which I used to think like, damn, am I this high maintenance? Like, what the fuck? He just doesn't. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I just, was lowering my stock prices with other niggas. I don't know.
Yeah, I think being centered enough to understand what you really need versus what you want, because those are not always the same things. The more experience I have with myself and sitting with myself and understanding myself, I started understanding the things that I need, and when I'm not getting them, how to course correct to get what I need.
Yeah, that honestly, that part, because like I used to give myself a lot of shit because I was in these like 3-4 month, 5 month relationships. Cause I'm very much the type of person where it's like, I'll give it a try. Like if I like you, if I like a person and I have a decent vibe with them, I'm like, okay, let's see where this could go. But if I see too much, it's just red flag, I'm gonna cut that shit off. Like, I'm not that person that's on, like, I hope he changed. Fuck out of here. So, like, I used to give myself a lot of shit because I didn't have long-term relationships. But I'm also thankful for that because each relationship that either got cut off because of me or because them niggas cheated, whatever the fuck happened, I was able to like build from there. Like, okay, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like that. Versus me investing years into somebody and never getting my needs met. If you're not even trying to meet my needs, like the first 3-4, skedaddle back to the streets. Like, I'm toss your ass back out. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm not. I think that's probably like the biggest thing.
And I love the way you put that because my relationships have been quote unquote short term too. But I'd rather be fast and furious and quickly than me have this long vested time in somebody and I turn around and I'm like, I don't like you. I mean, you can love somebody and not like them. So season 3, the ladies behind the mic, you're behind the mic, you have a podcast, speaking engagements, you're on other people's podcasts, you're out there in the community. How do you get ready to transfer energy and speak? What's something you do to get hyped, prepared, whatever it is, to be behind the mic?
It honestly depends, right? So if it's somewhere I'm being my full self, I'm my full self and all that. Let me take that back. If it's somewhere I don't have to monitor how much my full self I can bring, let's put it that way. So like when I'm speaking at conferences or shit like that, what it may look like for me to like get in the zone is like, I may listen to some trap music. I may listen to some inspirational, get a prayer, something like that. If I'm just coming on the podcast and I'm like, oh, I can be me, cool. Like I'm thrilled, I'm energized because I don't have to be as calculated. But if it's something where I have to be calculated, like I have a conference I'm speaking at on Thursday, that is like, okay, I'm talking to my mentors, I'm in prayer, I'm doing all this to make sure like, okay, let's make sure Diamond is presenting her best self for her business and for future opportunities, but also being my true self. But I'm not gonna go up here and be like, what's up, quality niggas? Like, can't do that. So just trying to like, figure out what space, variance I can give myself as far as like professional speaking and all that kind of stuff. But if it's just me, y'all gonna get me. This is my baseline Diamond.
Yep.
When I'm doing professional events, I'm giving myself, let's say 10%, right? Think of an orifice, like try to open that shit up. Let's do 10%. But if I'm out here like on a podcast, oh, you're gonna get it all of me. Like
when you're on Let's Talk, you can start just poof.
You know what I'm saying? So it started off as code switching. And I also want to say a thing about code switching. Yes, don't get me wrong, it has a negative connotation, but it's also showed us survival skills because we needed to learn how to adapt in these predominantly white spaces. It has good in it, but it's also the negative connotation is we don't need to like adapt to fit them. Like fuck them. Like you know what I'm saying? Like be your full self. Like be you. Don't feel like also don't think talking proper is white. Let's dice in that shit, slice that shit up.
Yeah.
But, like be your full self. If use whatever resources and tools by any means necessary to get on. Do that shit.
Yeah. And that's why I say code switching isn't like something we're actually doing. We're already an adaptable type of human, a type of body, as a woman, as a Black person, as a millennial, as people of color. And like, once again, I love that you bring the fact about talking proper. I've always talked proper. And for you or anybody else to say that it's talking white is taking away from the fact that I'm Black. And the way that I talk is me. And because it's me, it's a Black person talking. And it doesn't matter how it sounds. I'm Black. So I'm talking like a Black person. So it may not be how the world has presented us as how Black people talk, but because I'm Black, that's how a Black person talks. So I love that you say that. So what is something that you have fabulously failed at?
You are listening to the LaRae Infinity Let's Talk podcast. And I'm here with Mel, who created the WoMi app, the first native directory app for women in minority-owned small businesses. So Mel, I'm a small business. How do I sign up for this free WoMi app?
Thanks for asking, LaGina. All you need is an online shop or monetizable page like your podcast page. Then you just download the WoMi app for free from Google Play or App Store, sign up with an email, and we'll take you through our super easy onboarding process to create your free brand profile in less than 10 minutes.
Okay, Mel, cool. That sounds easy enough. I'll make sure I download the free WoMi app and register LaRae Infinity Let's Talk podcast on there. And for y'all out there, make sure you download the free WoMi app on Google Play and App Store.
Ooh, life.
Word.
Adulting. I've been failing at that shit. That shit sucks. Like, adulting, I would give this shit 0 stars on Yelp. I think the biggest thing that I failed at was, trying to wing it with a business. That type of failure, that shit was not fun. I launched the business, I want to say, what was it, 2018? Yeah, 2018-ish. Had no business plan. Had no business basics. Like, I just thought I could wing it. Just make that shit happen. Needless to say, that shit failed. And I felt like a true American because I had a failed business. But anyway.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, no, unless you're lucky, real lucky, have generational wealth, and sometimes just walk around in the world as a white hetero male, you typically cannot just start a business with no plan and move forward successfully. So you fabulously failed the business. So we want to know what the business was and what you're doing now with it.
Okay, so the business was essentially what I've kind of pivoted my current business to do. I've always had a passion about quality, process improvement, and all that. That's really what the business is about, is just helping organizations have sound quality processes, train employees on quality processes and all of that. So the business has viability. However, because I was trying to go about it the government contract way, and a lot of the catch-22 with government contracts is that they want to see pre-existing work. How do you have pre-existing work if you're a new business? It's trash. And the crazy thing, I've had companies hit me up and I did successful pitches, but it would get to the point where oh, who have you done contracts before? I just told you I'm a startup. I just told y'all that. And then I had previous employers give me raving reviews on things that I've done and all that shit. But some of them didn't take that. And I'm just I just told y'all the business launched this year. Cool. So yeah, that was the business. What I learned from it was definitely working with a business coach. So I did that this time around. I took the advice from the different business pitch competitions. Not that I've done one, but I went. So I took a lot of the tools and resources that I learned from there. I've actually gotten my first contract for a startup with this business, so it's going. But yeah, I could definitely say that was the hardest part about launching. And because like I don't have business owners in my family. Like my immediate family. So I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just knew like one, retirement and all that shit for our generation is slim to none. Social Security, that shit is
gone,
right? Some dementor from Harry Potter just sucked that shit out. So like it's not here. I don't want to be that person, given I'm 31, right? I don't want to be that person like, oh yeah, I'm going to retire from some company and they're going to take care of me. We can see generations before us who are uniquely unprepared for retirement right now. And even us, the most educated generation, most of us don't even, I mean, we're barely making it by when you add student loans. I just knew, and I know that like I need other plans outside of whatever company I may or may not work for.
Yeah.
So that's always been my thing. So whatever, y'all gonna see me with some business, some product, something, because at the end of the day, like what we grew up thinking this American dream, that shit is not there. That was an American nap that does not apply for our generation.
All right. So you were talking about your wedding, the wedding dress, and everything else. So let's talk about physical health and how you feel about your body.
Ah, man. My body right now, I feel like it's pretty damn good. I've been working back out because I had to take like some months off. I'm an avid runner. So last year I did like 15 races and ended up getting an Achilles tendonitis and had to sit my ass down for a minute.
Damn.
So I'm back in these gym streets. Well, not necessarily a physical gym. Shout out to Zoom. Because I'm still leery about gyms. Like I'm still leery about a lot of closed public places. I'll run outdoors and I'll work out outdoors, but in a gym, I'm good. I don't like my mask on my face. It's hard to breathe when you're trying to work out. Anyway, I digress. So I'm back running, back working out, trying to get my meals and all that shit together so I can look the way I want to look permanently.
We've talked a lot about last year, and you met your boo last year as you had to stop your running because of injuries last year. But we all know also last year we had COVID.
Right.
So when we're talking about now, it's not even 365 days. We're looking more like almost like 400 days ago. What were you doing? What have been your experiences since then?
Man, honestly, this is probably like the most in my life I've ever been in one spot. I'm a very busy, all over the place woman. I don't sit down. I think since I've been born, I was always on the go. Like I started walking at 6 months. I had places to go. COVID was the first time I literally sat the fuck down. It wasn't a conference. It wasn't some meetings, an organization, a job, a side hustle. Like I was in my fucking house, and thankful for my job that I have been working remote for like the past, even before COVID, I've been working remote. So I've literally been in my house for a year and some change. So I have cabin fever and I'm very ready for these streets. Very ready. Because if it wasn't the grocery store, I didn't go nowhere. I think I traveled once, and that was in October last year. And that was for a girls trip. But before then or after then, I didn't go nowhere. My birthday, I mean, this year, shit, you here in Texas, so it was an ice storm, so I didn't do shit.
Yeah. The streets are calling our names, y'all. Yeah, this year has been affected. And so even when I'm watching TV, like the mask wearing situation gets to me. Are you in that boat?
Yeah. We're there because like I'm like, these niggas ain't got a mask on. Like it's weird. I can't watch any movie without like, why are they touching? You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah,
can't.
PTSD.
I do. Like, it's like, why are they touching each other? Even when I think of, I don't know what the fuck me and AB were watching, but it was like people just like drinking shit. And I was like, bitch, it's COVID. Like, they were like passing around a drink or taking shots or something. I'm like, bitch, it's COVID.
Yes,
I've like 20 years ago.
Yes, and yes, it's the old movies. But then I've even been using deductive reasoning because I'll be like, oh, that company don't have no money to shoot a commercial.
Time out. Did you just use deductive reasoning randomly?
Yeah, girl, this vocabulary, it has like 80 words that can be used at any given moment. But like my deductive reasoning got me to understanding that not all companies during pivot have the financial stability to pivot and shoot new commercials with masks. Because you notice the commercials that have the masks are the businesses that have the money. The ones that didn't have the money couldn't do the pivot to get the, you know, we're all in it together or what, all those, the mask ones. Okay. So that's definitely been a thing. Do you consider yourself a sexually enlightened person?
Yeah, I've been a hoe before.
So wait. Okay, let's talk about this. So does being a hoe mean sexually enlightened, or is sexually enlightened your description of what you did while you were hoeing?
Well, I don't like the term hoeing. I was liberated. You know, I practiced.
There we go.
I am. Wait, let me double back. What do you mean by sexually enlightened? Let me not be petty.
What do you mean by sexually enlightened?
Yeah, you know, like I know what it takes for my own pleasure. I've explored the depths and heights of my own pleasure, and what it takes for that. Yeah, I did pretty good actually.
Okay, this is one of my favorite questions to ask every single season to every single woman that I've had on the Let's Talk podcast. Would you rather be crazy rich or deeply in love?
I would actually opt for love. Yeah, I've always been a love type. I've never, like, it's so funny because I remember when I was becoming an engineer, like people in my ear like, oh, you can only fuck with this type of nigga. And I did. I've dated NFL players. I've dated all that kind of shit. And them niggas treated my ass like small toys. So, treated my ass like small toys. I just rather go with genuine love, like genuine shit. And I've seen beautiful weddings. I've seen beautiful marriages that lasted all of a year. And they were wildly rich, wildly successful. Yeah, the most beautiful ring I ever saw on a person, their marriage lasted a couple months. You get what I'm saying? So it's like successful stuff. And that's not saying like you can't have a good marriage or successful marriage and be successful. Like, I'm not saying those are mutually exclusive. But if I have to choose, I'm going to choose love. Because I know if I'm with the right person, we can build.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there something from your past, either seen or witnessed, that you don't like to talk about?
All of it. All of it. I honestly, how I saw love, if I want to be a buck with you, I was brought up around a lot of abusive, toxic relationships. Mm-hmm. And even now I'm still like decoding that to try to work through it and be in a healthy marriage, healthy relationship. Because a lot of the women in my family were raised tough. I was raised to fight men and women. You know what I'm saying? Like, majority of my life, I was like, hey, you talking that hot shit, either one of y'all can get it. What's up? So trying to resolve things without getting to, not to say that we've ever had a abusive or anything like that, but I've been in those relationships before where I fought and did all this. And so like, just really like letting go of that hurt and that toxic shit that I saw in my households and with my cousins and all this other shit, where it's just like, everybody fighting. And Everybody popping off, everybody doing all this hot shit. Like, I don't want that. I don't want to be that. I would be a liar if I didn't say that part is still in me. I'm actively working through it, but I hate it. I hate that I was grown up and exposed to a lot of that shit.
But how are you jumping to a different road to ensure that like the next generation that is created in your family has a different option?
Therapy. And then like just being honest. I literally had to explain to AB like, hey, I was raised this type of way and I'm never gonna put my hands on you. My mouth is lethal. I'm very aware of it and I'm working on it. And he gives me grace. So there are moments where we have heated discussions and just like any other couple. But it's like me understanding and being honest that sometimes when I get to these points, I'm really responding out of hurt from some shit you ain't even got nothing to do with. Like I'm really just responding out of habit at this point. Him being gracious enough to like say, hey, let's find a different way. So we've literally like developed code words. We have like a method where if we're trying to have a difficult conversation about certain things, we will go for a walk because that is it's a cooling mechanism. So our guards aren't up. Like if we do have a heated conversation, like we have our heated whatever, like we made it a point now where it's like, we're not going to bed like that. Cause you can't just wake up and be like, oh, I want that in my marriage. Are you practicing that shit now? Who I am, he's getting all of this when we get married. There is no Diamond 2.0. This is Diamond. And everything that will come from that was built off of who I am right now. So like really, him really showing me what that looks like. Cause I never saw unconditional love in my household. Never. Not even with my own people. Like it's been conditional as fuck. So it's like just learning a lot of that through him and him being strong enough to like even show me. Man, I think I love that nigga.
You're making me choke up because I feel like you're like, I know you already know this, but I feel like you're realizing as you're talking and it's hey, this girl, this is a moment. I'm having a moment with you right now because I'm like, damn, that is beautiful.
Because a lot of stuff that we grow up with, it manifests, it sits, it becomes a very part of your fiber in your being. It's not only him giving you the grace, but it's you having the realization and the courage to tell him that, and for you to give time for him to ingest and let him accept that. Because sometimes you could tell somebody something and you don't give them enough time to digest that stuff.
Yeah. Initially, I don't think I did, because I didn't give him enough time to like digest and process because it is different. I am different in the sense of where it's like, well, let's look at it. Culturally, there's differences, right? His people may have, whether he subscribed to it or not, how he may have told them how a woman should act or a woman should be. How my people have like, niggas ain't shit, you do this, you that, you all of that, right? All my fucking life. Until I got to a point where it's like, no, maybe it's the niggas y'all choosing. Really just being honest with myself about like, I don't want to be this person. Like I've been doing the work I went to anger, like I had to go to anger management as a kid. Like I really was like a very violent person. Like I really fucking was. So like going through counseling for years to just really work through like, why am I so fucking angry? And a lot of that had to do with my upbringing. Like my mom was bipolar. So being in that type of like hot, cold environment and then like just normal life, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I could get bullied at school, be called all this kind of shit, and then come home and I don't know which motherfucker I'm dealing with when it comes to my mom, because she's bipolar and multiple personalities. I don't know who the fuck I'm dealing with. So it's like all that shit. I just stayed on guard all day. You know what I'm saying? So like him having to deal with me being so guarded and me getting to a point where I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to let these guards down. And it's going to be a rough and rocky process. But he like, I'm here for it. Like, you're a good person. I'm sorry that you kind of went through it. And I was like, nigga, me? I'm a good person? That's what's up. Like, so it's man, like, it's crazy. It's really kind of like crazy to just like have a person that I could do that with. You know what I'm saying? Because before I've been this same person, but nobody really gave a fuck or even made me feel safe enough to even say, hey, all right, let's let go of Tough Diamond. And this soft, not weak, but this delicate person can come out that I haven't been a soft, weak, not weak, but like even like gentle person. I can't think of the last time I was able to be that.
Yeah. And you know what I love about what you're saying right now is you said soft diamond, and you said weak, and you're like, not weak. Even in your head, it's ingrained. If you are XYZ, it means that you're weak. And you're like constantly combating that.
Literally, this is a daily thing where it's like something happened and I go into like, all right, we about to bang. Like, that's where my mind, and I'm like, no, let's be softer. Or I'll get this like feeling where it's like I don't cry. And if I cry, I may cry like 2 minutes and like, niggas, tighten up. Like, fuck that shit. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can't even, my therapist like, girl, why don't you even let yourself cry? She's like, you won't let the tears hit your face. It's like, I don't got time for crying. She was like, what do you mean? Like, it's just growing up with all these things where it's like, build this wall, build this wall, build this wall, build this wall. I don't want that shit. And I don't want that for whenever I have kids. Like, I want them to be like, here, guys, love me. Like, not in some like needy way, but like, I don't want them to feel pessimism for the world.
So what's something right now, Diamond, that you're really embracing about yourself?
Right now, my skin, like, I have horrible allergies. I've been littered in hives for about 2 months. So just having smooth skin is just like, bitch, you look good today.
It's the little things, y'all. It is. And you know, this COVID life with the masks, I've never broken out so much. Like, I have breakouts in every area and region the mask sits. And I'm like, yeah, so that's a good one to embrace your skin. And your skin is bomb. Y'all check out the photo, you know, in the little feed. You'll see it. That's her skin, because she don't have on any makeup today and it still looks the same way. So we're not playing with this 31-year-old face. Okay. So Diamond, what's something that you are starting to embrace about yourself, or you wish that you were embracing, or that you're always working to embrace? I know you said your temper and being vulnerable and everything like that, but is there more to that? Are there levels to that shit?
Yeah, honestly, because I never had a middle ground. So it was either I love you or let's fight. So that's been my biggest thing, is like, how do I still want to have this dominant, harder side of me, because some people, by happenstance or choice, got me fucked up. And then there is a side where I don't want to always be like, I'm about to woo, woo, woo. Like, I don't. So I'm really like trying to learn being assertive. That's really been my homework with my therapist. Is like, what does it look like to be assertive? Where it's like, I'm living out my truth. I'm saying how I feel, but I'm not an asshole, but I'm not too nice. I'm not a pushover. So that's been my journey, because I didn't have a middle. Like, I never had a middle. It was either Care Bear or First 48. Like, that's it.
No, I feel you. First 48 reference, yes. Care Bear. Which Care Bear?
Man, I don't know. Like, either one, all of them. Shit, I'm all of it. Like,
pick a picture, pick a day.
Care Bear, sir, like all that shit. Like, I'm here. So yeah, that's been my biggest thing is like, I just never had a middle. Never had a middle.
What has been your absolute favorite day?
Favorite day? My absolute favorite day. It's probably like I was 14. Yeah, 14-ish. No, 13. Had to be. My mom stopped letting me see my dad like for like 5 years. Because who the fuck knows? Global warming. I don't goddamn know. She just stopped letting me see the nigga. So I couldn't call him. I couldn't nothing. And this wasn't social media age. It was like, you have a number, like nigga, you screwed. So literally what I did, I knew my dad worked for a hospital. I didn't know which one. I didn't know what he did. I didn't know any of that. So I literally like called every hospital, every extension in a phone book. And it took me fucking days, nigga, days. And I had to sneak and do it on top of that shit. But whatever day it was, I eventually found my dad. And like, that was probably like the happiest day for me because like, in my kid mind, I just thought like, because I haven't talked to him, seen him in 5 years, he must have forgot about me. He got a new family and he forgot about me. But all I said was dad, and he knew exactly who the fuck I was, and we just like cried. Like they sent this nigga home from work. Like it was bad. So that was like my favorite day.
Damn, I love that. Did y'all stay connected after that day?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I literally, you would think like 14, 15, I was sneaking out to, pop lock and drop it for some little nigga, but I was really sneaking out to see my dad. Like, our first Christmas, we exchanged gifts in the alley. And he couldn't even put his name on a card because my mom was fucking mad. Like, all the stupid shit. But yeah, like we have a groovy ass relationship now, but it was kind of crazy. Like to think about like going through all of that shit because these niggas mad at whatever the fuck happened. I don't.
All right though, those walls, but you're breaking them down. You're doing that shit. I see you. Okay, so who inspires you?
My grandma inspired me. Like I just remember like her battling cancer but never complaining about it. So that inspires me. But to date, I feel like a little bit of old Kanye, like I inspired me. Like, just creating these different paths and lanes for my family, for my nieces, my nephew now. I have a nephew now. So just like create, because again, nobody in my family engineering, nobody college. So it's just like creating all these different paths, like being business owner, doing a podcast. So just like showing them you can just do you in different ways.
All right, y'all. So we just did that. Diamond is a whirlwind of person. You are so fun. I hope y'all followed that. I hope y'all know, and we know, that you have to constantly work on yourself. And sometimes in the dating app world, you can find somebody that you can let your guard down with, work through your life, try to always consistently be yourself, because I believe that is the energy that you can attract to get what you need to get done. Diamond, thank you so much for being on LaRae Infinity. Let's Talk podcast. Is there anything else that you want to share with us before we hop off?
Tune in, the rest of season 2 of Knowledge and Pettiness coming June 2nd. Find me on Instagram. Find me on Facebook. I engineer, spell kind of weird, but I'm there. Our knowledge_pettiness on Instagram, Facebook. I also have a website, diamondwilliams.me, which shows all of that stuff and my story.
I love it. And y'all know the links will be in the description of this podcast. And always tune in or check out the IGTV season 3 live streams because we talk about careers and side hustles. Okay, y'all, you know how this goes. The world is spinning. Things are happening. We have more in common than you think. So as you're moving through the world, be empathetic and understand that you are not the only one that has things going on. Be caring and a good human. Do what you need to do to help us get through this epidemic, so that we can get to a new norm. And as always, tell your story, be your own brand, live your truth, and stand in your moment.
All right, y'all. My name is Diamond Sade. I'm 31 years old. I hope that y'all learned more about my story, learned how I'm trying to do better with this adulting shit. You can find your same love story from mine. You know, all of that shit. Swipe right on the nigga. You just listen to my story as I live my truth and stand in my moment on LaRae Infinity Let's Talk Podcast, Season 3.
Episode 8, baby! Diamond, thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you, honey. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too. Bye, y'all.
Beep. And all that. Like,
Stop moving that paper.
I can't. I'm sorry. I have shiny shit syndrome. Beep. You just listen to my story about my love life, how I swipe right to
From the top, bitch.
Okay. All right.